For decades, John Travolta's life has unfolded under intense public attention, shaped by extraordinary success and constant scrutiny. As one of Hollywood's most recognizable figures, his every move has been examined, interpreted, and often misunderstood. Fame arrived early and powerfully, placing him in a position where private beliefs, personal losses, and professional decisions became subjects of public conversation. Over time, this attention created a delicate balance between openness and protection. Travolta learned that silence can sometimes be a form of self-preservation rather than avoidance. While audiences often expect clear answers and declarations, the reality of living a public life is far more complex. His journey reflects the quiet tension between personal identity and public expectation, revealing how a man admired for confidence has also navigated long periods of restraint, choosing when to speak and when to remain still. Searching for meaning beyond the spotlight. In the mid-1970s, as John Travolta's career began to accelerate, he found himself searching for stability amid sudden fame. Like many young performers, he explored philosophies that promised clarity, balance, and emotional grounding. During this period, he encountered Scientology through reading and personal introductions, drawn by its focus on self-understanding and personal responsibility. For Travolta, this exploration was less about public identity and more about managing internal pressure. Hollywood offered opportunity, but little guidance on how to endure its demands. Over the years, he spoke positively about practices that encouraged reflection and discipline, emphasizing that everyone seeks tools to cope with stress differently. His involvement was often discussed publicly, yet his reasons remained personal. Rather than defining him, these beliefs existed alongside his work, family, and creative ambitions. Navigating belief in the public eye. As conversations around belief systems became louder in popular culture, John Travolta found himself at the center of discussions he did not initiate. Media narratives frequently simplified complex personal choices into headlines, overlooking nuance. Travolta rarely engaged directly with speculation, preferring to maintain dignity through restraint. He acknowledged that belief, like identity, can evolve over time, shaped by experience and reflection. While some expected clear declarations, he chose careful language, emphasizing respect for differing views without fueling controversy. This approach reflected maturity rather than evasion. Living publicly does not remove the right to personal boundaries. His silence was not an admission or denial, but a deliberate effort to prevent private matters from becoming public conflict. In doing so, Travolta modeled a quieter form of self-protection in an industry built on exposure. Loss that reshaped everything. Few experiences alter a person more deeply than profound loss, and John Travolta has faced grief that words can barely hold. In 2009, he endured the devastating loss of his son, Jet, a moment that permanently reshaped his emotional world. The tragedy was followed years later by the passing of his wife, Kelly Preston, in 2020. Together, these losses marked a turning point, shifting his priorities away from external validation toward family, presence, and healing. Travolta has spoken sparingly about grief, choosing authenticity over performance. When he does share, his words reflect love rather than despair. Loss taught him patience and tenderness, reminding him that strength is often quiet. These experiences deepened his compassion and grounded his public image in humanity rather than celebrity. Growing up with creativity and courage, John Travolta was born on February 18, 1954, in Englewood, New Jersey, into a lively household filled with creativity. His mother, a former actress and drama teacher, nurtured his early love for performance, while his father provided structure and discipline. Family life encouraged expression, imagination, and confidence. As the youngest of 6 children, Travolta learned to observe, adapt, and speak through action. By his teenage years, he knew that performing was not a hobby but a calling. Leaving high school early to pursue acting in New York required courage and sacrifice. He took small roles, attended auditions daily, and survived uncertainty with determination. These formative years taught him resilience long before fame arrived, building a foundation that would support both triumph and challenge. Rising fast and falling hard, Travolta's rise in the late 1970s was meteoric. Roles in Welcome Back, Cotter, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease turned him into a global icon almost overnight. Success brought admiration, wealth, and opportunity, but also immense pressure. As tastes changed in the 1980s, his career slowed and public enthusiasm faded. Rather than disappearing, Travolta endured the shift with patience. These quieter years became a period of reflection, teaching him humility and persistence. He resisted bitterness and remained open to reinvention. This phase proved essential, reminding him that longevity requires adaptation. The absence of applause refined his craft and character, preparing him for a return built not on nostalgia, but on credibility and depth. Reinvention through risk and craft. The 1990s marked one of the most respected comebacks in modern Hollywood. With Pulp Fiction in 1994, John Travolta reintroduced himself not as a former star, but as a fearless actor willing to take creative risks. The role demonstrated range, confidence, and maturity, earning renewed respect. Projects like Get Shorty, Face/Off, and later Hairspray showed his versatility across genres. This era was not about reclaiming fame, but redefining it. Travolta chose roles that challenged perception rather than chasing trends. His second ascent was steadier, built on experience rather than momentum. Reinvention taught him that growth does not require erasing the past, only understanding it. Finding peace. Above the ground. Outside of acting, aviation became John Travolta's lifelong sanctuary. Flying offered solitude, focus, and control, elements often missing from public life. He trained rigorously, earning multiple pilot certifications and accumulating thousands of flight hours. His Florida home, designed with direct runway access, reflects this passion. Aviation is not about spectacle for him, but freedom and discipline. In the cockpit, hierarchy disappears, replaced by responsibility and presence. Flying allowed Travolta to step outside the narrative written for him and reconnect with himself. It became a form of meditation, balancing fame with stillness. This passion also allowed him to contribute meaningfully, including participation in humanitarian flights and aviation advocacy, reinforcing purpose beyond entertainment. Fatherhood as his greatest role. Above all achievements, John Travolta considers fatherhood his most important responsibility. Raising his children, Ella and Benjamin, became central to his life, especially after profound loss. He approaches parenting with intention, blending guidance with freedom. Travolta supports his children's interests while protecting their privacy, ensuring they grow without the weight of expectation. He speaks openly about love, presence, and listening, values shaped by experience. Fatherhood grounded him, reminding him that legacy is measured not by fame but by the people you nurture. Through shared moments, simple routines, and quiet encouragement, he continues to build a home defined by safety and care. In this role, Travolta is not an icon, but a constant, a life guided by reflection, not noise. Today, John Travolta lives with measured purpose, balancing creativity with calm. He selects projects thoughtfully, values health and mindfulness, and maintains close connections rather than wide exposure. His life reflects acceptance rather than urgency. Experience taught him that truth does not need constant announcement. Through resilience, reinvention, and restraint, he has shaped a legacy defined by endurance. Travolta's story is not one of perfection, but of persistence. He remains a symbol of adaptability, showing that growth continues long after the spotlight shifts. In choosing authenticity over spectacle, he demonstrates that a meaningful life is not built on noise but on intention, compassion, and the courage to keep moving forward quietly.